So, you know what else crazy to me about this whole black fatigue thing, right? It's funny how everybody is so focused on black, black this, black that, black this, black that. Like there's nobody else in the world. I guess we the only community that have problems. I guess every other community is perfect. There's no problems in none of these other communities. They don't have problems with anything. You know what I mean? They don't have problems at all. You know what I mean? There's no there's no epidemics going on in any of these other communities. There's no there's no drug use. There's no prostitution. Even though you got pill popping like a motherfucker, opiates and shit. Motherfuckers been doing that since I was in middle school. They was having pill parties when I was in middle school. But whatever. That's their community, Shh, 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 shh. There's a lot of stuff going on in these communities, in these homes, in these households. You know what I mean? That's why they have so much. You know what I mean? Look at what just happened at Florida State. Mental. There's a lot of mental health thing going on. What about the 15-year-old that shot up her school and then did herself because she was talking to I think a 22-year-old man, and he had a whole arsenal and police uniforms, and but whatever. You know what I mean? What about the dude that tried to bake her at himself, and then he beat a nurse almost to death, and it's labeled a hate crime, even though they won't tell you, they won't. He could be come up on federal hate crime charges. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in these communities. Like they just, you know what I'm saying? A lot. But, don't worry about that because we have black fatigue to the point where we're not talking about anything else. It's funny how this black fatigue stuff just come up soon as we was getting into the meat of the end potatoes about who's really behind the curtain when it comes to our country. When it comes to this anti-Semitic, you know what I mean? When it comes to all of this shit and all the things put into place and all the laws being passed, it's crazy how all of a sudden we're on black fatigue. We were just addressing anti-Semitism and how far they're going with this. We were just addressing how Israel, how Benjamin is just got his hands all over our country and it's like he's damn near running it. And now we're talking about black fatigue. It's crazy. It's crazy what we was getting into and the rabbit holes we was going down. And now all of a sudden we're shitting on black people again. It's crazy how that shit works. It's crazy how soon as our attention is drawn to what's really going on in this country, we end up doubling back and talking about black people. They don't have fathers in their home. Black people are benefiting from the SNAP program. Black people have a problem with gun violence. Black people have a problem with education and all of this other stuff. Okay, so what does people outside of our community have problems with? And why aren't those issues being addressed? Why do we gloss over everybody else's problems and only highlight ours? Why are our problems always highlighted? Like we don't know this shit. You feel me? We don't know what's going on. Like black people in the community don't understand that we have problems in our community concerning some of our brothers and sisters. Like we don't know that a lot of people out here representing us wrong. Like we don't know that. We don't know nothing. Like we need people outside of the community to point that out to us all the time, when those people really that's outside of the community really need to focus on their own community and try to get that straight. Because, right, we're not talking about the high rate of, okay, when it comes to all this anti-Semitism and how blacks are like, I seen something like blacks are the biggest threat or some crazy shit like that, right? So we're always focused on the black community. Why are we focused on like the amount of pedophilia that goes on inside that community? Or do we not care about the children? Why do we not care about all this transgenderism? Why are we always trying to push uh, gay on the black community when if you look at the numbers, because we like to talk about the numbers. What about this? These overdoses on fentanyl and all these opiates, the opiate epidemic that's going on. Why aren't we like focused on that? And why would, when it comes to that, why is the cure to that treatment and not incarceration? Is it a color thing? Is it a race thing? Is it a what is it? What is it? Because when one neighborhood or one group of people is flooded with a drug and an epidemic, it's newsworthy. It's prime time news. We gotta lock these bastards up and start whole don't say no programs. You know what I mean? And then when it's in reverse with other communities, it's sympathy and treatment. People don't look at it. Black people should have fatigue when it comes to all of this shit, because there's a lot of shit that when it happens to other people, it's looked at different. When we're looked at as we're complaining about something, or we have a victim mentality, and then when it comes to somebody else complaining about the same thing, we look at them as victims. We don't look at them as they're complaining. We look at them as with sympathy, and we go out our way to try to help them. And we're trying to find the root cause of the problem and trying to see how we can save them. So a lot of this shit, you know what I mean? A lot of it, yeah, it's political. You know what I mean? A lot of it is just like, it's look over here. It's a mind fuck. It's a Jedi mind trick. Look over here and ignore what's going on over here. We're not going to talk about these problems. These problems are going to be kept, silent, hush, hush. But these are we're gonna magnify these, because these people they're the trash. They're the bottom of the cans. They're nobody. That's why every time you see something, it's glossed over, right? School shootings are glossed over. These teachers having sex with these students, these pedophiles are glossed over. You know what I mean? We finna, like I said, we're finna find out everybody Diddy had contact with, but Epstein, we can't know his list. We can't know the intricate details of all the fucking shit he had going on. You know what I mean? We can't dig into that rabbit hole and that pedophile ring, because that's Epstein, and he's powerful, and he had powerful connections, and he was flying people all over the world, trafficking like a motherfucker. But let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about Bill. Let's not talk about George. Let's not talk about the Prince. Let's not talk about Maxwell. Let's not talk about none of these people that are connected to him and on his data, on his flight laws and shit. Because he had a couple powerful people, and we don't want to sully their image. But let's talk about Diddy and Cassie, and let's make Cassie out to be some kind of victim. when she is not. Oh, Miss Ventura, because there's a video of him beating her up. But if you get into 10 years of their life, 10 fucking years. It seemed to me she wanted to be part of the lifestyle. But whatever, I don't know. I don't know. Was she a child? She didn't seem like a child. She seemed like she was an adult woman who knew what she was doing. But whatever. It's different. That's different. Now, Epstein, and then you get into Epstein, then you get into Hillary. Let's talk about Hillary and after the earthquake in Haiti and how they just fucked Haiti over and continue to fuck Haiti over. How she destroyed Haiti, basically. Right? No. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about Obama. He was the worst president ever. Really? He wasn't the best, but the worst ever? The worst ever. He wasn't the... And then if you think about it, because you think about Obama, they say Michelle's a man. But then you look at a couple of the other presidents and their wives, and you like, Or you look at a couple of the Congress members, and their wives, and you're like, Is she really a she? Because she looked like Mister. But, like I always say, the views and the money comes from talking about black. The views and the money come from talking about black. Even with all this illegals crossing and coming over, you feel me? We only talking about the brown ones because we finna bring all the South Africans here when they could have went back to everywhere else they come from, right? Most of they're like Dutch and all kind of other shit. Why they can't go back to where they from? Why are we bringing them here? Why are we bringing them here? I wonder. And why I'm not hearing it on the news? Where's the uprising? Where's the anger? Oh, because we feel like they're being slighted because people are taking their land back, the land that was stolen from them. Now they're being slighted because they have to return stolen land. Because they want to continue to exploit and and get rich off the minerals and the natural resources of that land that they stole. But it's different, right? It's different because you're not black. It's like what's going on in Gaza. Open air prison, living under apartheid. But, the whole genocide that's going on, the basically there's a cleansing going on, There's not going to be anybody left there. But, whatever. You can't talk about that. Can't talk about that either. But you can talk about black. And you can have black fatigue. Sounds about right.